Hey everyone, you're watching We Had That, and today I'm going to talk about the 1976 action figure of the Joker from Mego's Comic Action Heroes line. In the 1970s, Mego brought many of our favorite comic book characters to life with their 8-inch World's Greatest Superheroes line. Since they were having so much success, they decided to branch out into other scales as well. One of their lines of superheroes was the smaller scale Comic Action Heroes line, which was pretty much 3 3/4 inches, but the figures are squatting down, bringing their height down to about 3.5 inches, depending on the figure. I've seen copyright dates for both 1975 and 1976 for these figures, but from what I understand, their actual first release was in 1976. The figures continued through 1977 and were then given new straight legs in the 1978 release, which was rebranded as Pocket Superheroes. I thought these guys were great. I know as a kid I had Batman, Robin, 2 slightly different Superman figures, Shazam and Aquaman, and I'm pretty sure that I also had Penguin and Green Goblin. Unfortunately, my original Aquaman is the only one of my childhood comic action heroes that I still have, and he suffered from being used as a chew toy by the family dog after I carelessly left him on the floor one night instead of putting him away like I was supposed to. Although I'm not 100% sure of all the figures I had as a kid, I do know for a fact that I never had the Joker. I loved the 1966 Batman TV show as a kid, so I probably never had the opportunity to get the Comic Action Heroes Joker, or I'm sure I would have picked him up. When I started trying to recollect these toys as an adult, I knew I wanted to get them all, but the Joker was higher on my list than most of the other figures. I'll admit, not all of the Comic Action Heroes look great. They still have their charm, but some of them quite simply could have been better. However, the Joker was actually one of the cooler figures to me, and I think he worked pretty well in this format. Whoever sculpted the head did a pretty good job of capturing the Joker's look as he was drawn in the 1970s, which are the comics that would have been in stores at the time. Obviously, he wasn't as detailed as the 8-inch Mego Joker, but considering what they were working with, the Comic Action Heroes Joker looks about as good as I could hope for in that scale at that time. A few years later, Kenner would release a Joker with their Superpowers line that was the closest to the comic book version of any Joker figure out there when I was a kid, but the Comic Action Heroes Joker was still a pretty cool figure for its time. The Joker came with a removable coat and a cane. Even the 8-inch Joker didn't have a cane. As with other comic action heroes, the details of his face weren't painted. Unlike the other figures, the Joker's face was solid white with his hair bright green. The outfit was a dark purple with a green shirt under his coat, white gloves, and he came with a brown cane with a ball on the top. Also, like all Comic Action Heroes figures, the Joker came with a stand. The stands look like little brick steps to me. I'm not sure that they really do much to keep the figure standing up, but they are kind of neat. I've read several articles on the Comic Action Heroes, and they tend to skip over one very obvious feature of these figures. Well, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and that's the position of the figure's right arm and hand. I can't believe that no one at Mego considered how these poses might be problematic. I know it was the 70s, and children's toys weren't really under the same scrutiny as they were in later years, but come on, how can any adult not see this? Honestly, I thought nothing of it when I had these figures as a kid, but as an adult, I have to admit, it's occasionally a little bit awkward to show these figures to people. With that said, the Joker doesn't look so bad in that regard. Maybe it's because he's holding a cane, or maybe it's the way that his coat prevents his arms from going all the way down. I'm really not sure. But for whatever reason, the Joker looks much less mischievous than the other figures. Anyway, I think the Comic Action Heroes Joker is a great figure, and I'm really disappointed that he didn't make the transition to the straight-leg Pocket Superheroes format in 1978. From looking at the figures Mego chose to release in the Pocket Superheroes line, it seems like they were trying to capitalize on the popularity of the Christopher Reeve Superman movie from 1978, so the only DC villains we got in this line were Superman's foes Lex Luthor, who for some reason I haven't ever picked up, and Zod, pictured here. The comic action heroes had a relatively short run, but I played with them for many years as a kid. Despite their squatting stance and inappropriate hand position, they made their way into my adventures with other toy lines into the 80s. And even though action figures have come a long way since these figures were on the shelves, they still have a place in my collection. Someday, I hope to complete the set. Did you have any comic action heroes as a kid? Do you collect them now? Which character is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please give this video a like and share it on social media. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. It really does help. And hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when I post new videos. And one last thing, if you're a fan of toys, you should know about ToyLanta, the biggest toy show in the southeastern United States, held annually just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Visit ToyLanta.com for more information. As always, thanks for watching.